Consider the paintbrush. Simple enough for a child, complex enough for an old master. That's what any artistic tool should strive for, and the art of programming deserves a tool that's more creative, more explorative, more alive. Hi, I'm Nikki Case, and this is a demo for my upcoming project, Joy.js. Make happy little programs. It's a JavaScript library that you can plug into your game or your simulation or whatever to let your users or players program it. And it'll be programmable in such a way that it's accessible to both beginners and experts alike. Today, I'll show off 2 examples of things that I've made that use Joy.js. I'll go through both of these examples and you can play with both of them after this video. For my first example, I would like to show Joy.js working with the classic turtle drawing program. So when this turtle moves, it leaves a drawing of a line behind it. So let's create a, let's say a triangle. So first let's pick a color and turn it a little bit. Repeat the following, move forward and turn. And the nice thing about Joy.js is that you can explore different parameters by clicking a number and dragging it back and forth. And you will see the result instantly on the left. So I'm just going to eyeball this to create a triangle. It's like, yeah, 120, that makes sense. Then increase this, just make that triangle a bit bigger, recenter it, make sure it's upright, and there we go. We have a turtle triangle. The other nice thing about Joy.js is that you can hover over a number and it'll wiggle it. You can see the wiggle on the left. It'll wiggle it to show you what that number actually does. So this one actually increases the size. This one, repeats the loop. This one rotates the triangle, and if you hover over a color, it shows you what that color is actually going to change. This is nice if I have more than one color. So yeah, that's rotating a triangle, and that's, ooh, you know what? That actually looks kind of interesting. So if I were to change this, that kind of looks like half of a star. So let me increase this loop a little bit. Oops, I missed it. But that's okay, because I can fiddle with this and just eyeball it. That looks about right. And turn you upright, and there we go, we have a star. One of the nice things about Joy.js is that on top of being able to see what the colors are when you hover over it, or see how changing a number changes what's on the screen, you can also see the entire system by hovering over the steps and then going through the steps one by one. So change the color to blue, turn 18 degrees, and then repeat the following 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And if I wanted to go inside a single step, I can do that as well. Move forward 258 steps and then turn 144 degrees. And I can also go backwards, like that, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's really nice. So not only can I see what changing the parameters will do, but I can also see what the entire system does simply by hovering and scrubbing. And to cap this example off, I would like to show you how you can do variables. So let's set a number. How about side size, and then we'll click this number and set that to side size. Right now you can't see it because it's too small, so let's increase that up. But having a constant variable isn't that interesting, so let's actually do some math to this variable. So we'll say that every time it does this loop, it'll increase the side size by, let's say, 30. And now we can hover over the steps, and you can see it starts off at 236, changes color to blue, and then turns 18 degrees, and then as we go through the loop, it increases the side size by 30 each time. But this shape looks kind of weird, so I'm just going to fiddle with some numbers, let's see if this looks okay. How about, oh! That looks pretty cool. So let's make that upright, shrink you a little bit, and recenter you, and let's increase this loop, and oh, there we go! We get a triangular spiral. And this is what Bob Ross called a happy little accident. Because Joy.js lets you fiddle with numbers and explore different parameters really easily and let you see with an instant feedback loop what happens, it really lets you explore the possibilities and lets you create these happy little accidents. So we went from a simple triangle to a star to this weird triangular spiral thing. And of course we can hover over the steps and see it creates this majestic thing step by step. the turtle was kind of a toy example, so here's something a little bit more serious, if you will. So in this example, I will be programming a nonlinear dynamical system. Well, what's that? I think I'll just jump into it and show you. So let's create a little, very simple ecosystem of foxes and rabbits. Let's start at 2 foxes and maybe say 100 rabbits. Yeah. And actually, I think foxes maybe should be orange. Yeah, we should graph that as orange, and we should graph rabbits as maybe pink. Yeah, pink rabbits. And so let's say every step, rabbits multiply by 3%. So let's do math to rabbits. Multiply rabbits by 0.13. So that's 3% per step. And as you can see, this creates an exponential curve. This actually will make easier to see if and this is what we would expect from just a population that gets to grow out of control. But here's the thing, they're going to be eaten by foxes. So let's set a new number. This will be the number of rabbits eaten. So how many rabbits will be eaten each step? Well, so the number of possible interactions between foxes and rabbits would be foxes times rabbits. But that would be every fox meets every rabbit, which is not going to be possible, so it'll be some fraction of that. So let's just say, I don't know, 0.01. Yeah, that looks about right. And then, so every step, not only do the rabbits multiply, they also get eaten. So let's do math to rabbits again. And we'll decrease rabbits by the number of rabbits eaten. But not only do rabbits grow and get eaten, foxes also grow. So let's say that foxes grow as a kind of a proportion to how many rabbits they eat. Because, the more rabbits you eat, the more energy you have, and the more energy you have, the more, foxes can, do their thing and reproduce, thing that requires energy. So we'll increase foxes by rabbits eaten. Actually, no, rabbits eaten times some amount, so maybe 0.2. Yeah, there we go. So now we get like a nice boom and bust curve for rabbits, like they spike a little bit. But as for foxes, they start small and then they kind of have an S-shaped logistic curve where they keep growing until they hit some kind of carrying capacity and their population stays still for the rest of time. But yeah, not only do foxes grow, they also die. So let's just say that foxes, how many dead foxes should there be every step? So let's set dead foxes. Let's make you red for dead. And dead foxes would be, let's say, 9% of foxes die every step. Yeah, and so then we do math to foxes. We decrease foxes, not rabbits, decrease foxes by dead foxes. Actually, yeah, let's increase the time, and ooh, we get these nice little oscillations that go up and down. Yeah, so there we have it with these very simple steps. We can create a boom and bust of an ecological system. This is also known as the Lotka-Volterra equations, which usually look like this. However, unless you're already a mathematician, this is incomprehensible. But when you put it in this form, it's a lot easier to understand because you can actually see the Lotka-Volterra equations build up step by step. So at first you have exponential growth, but then you have death, so you have a lower exponential growth. Then you have logistic S-shaped curved growth, and then finally you have some oscillations. But it's more than just about teaching about these equations. In this format, you can also actually play with the equations to see some properties that are not really obvious when they are in the equation form. For example, if I increase the number of dead foxes per step, I get lower oscillations, but as I keep going, the oscillations increase again. Which is kind of weird that there's this middle ground where the oscillations are the lowest, but any higher or lower, the oscillations get bigger. So not only does this format let me see patterns that I wouldn't have before, but it also lets me actually explore why these patterns happen in the first place. So I can, just go back down to a very few number of steps. When I have a low death rate for foxes, there's kind of a exponential growth with the foxes, which leads to a huge, amount of death for the rabbits. But as I increase the death rate for foxes, what we get instead is an exponential growth for rabbits. And it's only at some level in between that we can kind of balance both out, where you know, if too few foxes die, you get large out of control growth for foxes, but if too many foxes die, you get large out of control growth for rabbits. And so now we understand why there's actually that middle ground where neither foxes or rabbits can get the upper hand, and so that's why at that level you get very small oscillations. So that's the true power of Joy.js. Not only can you play with a system, and not only can you make a system, you can actually understand systems by going through step by step and changing parameters, exploring, creating these happy little accidents. So yeah, that's my demo. Now, those are just 2 examples. In the future, I hope Joy.js will also be useful for making simulations about social science, game theory, emergence, or maybe even making procedural art, game design, data visualization, apps, bots, etc, etc. You can play with both of these examples for yourself by clicking the links below. Oh, by the way, when you finish creating something, you can also save and share your work. So if you make something cool, please send it my way. So play around with this, make some happy little accidents, and let me know what you think. Thank you so much, and have a good day!